up on a cookie, but I don't want to waste it. I think I could still do something with it. The profit margin of small bakeries is low because of the great amount of labor required and the cost of ingredients. So bakers do learn to be creative if they make a mistake. I don't like to waste food, and I'm fortunate to be able to afford to run some recipe trials without having to throw food away. Here I'm going to show you how I started to paint some cookies, but then wasn't satisfied with my work. I wiped off the edible paint with a slightly damp towel and figured out what I could do with a cookie. At first, I thought I would just put it in the husband pile, but the pile was already pretty high. Then I decided I'd show you some possible ways to change your plan and still achieve a nice finished product. I first thought of how to cover most of the original image, so I piped an outline of a heart in the center and filled it with a light pink flood consistency frosting. While that was drying, I used some Cake Craft edible paint to fill in the color of Woodstock using an image as reference. It doesn't have to be a perfect shape because that adds to the watercolor effect, which I like. This is the first time that I've used the Cake Craft edible paint, and no, this is not a paid promotion. I found it in Walmart and wanted to try it since I normally use gel or powder color mixed with some clear alcohol-based flavorings such as lemon. You could still mix this edible paint with a clear flavor to make it more transparent if you want more of a lighter wash. I actually had 2 cookies that I had messed up on, so I'm bringing in the second cookie here. You can see that there's still leftover edible ink on the bottom right part of the cookie. I'm using my Chef Master edible ink pen with dual sides, and I'm carefully outlining my Woodstock figure. I need to use 2 hands to keep the sharper end of the pen from making holes into the icing. The last time I used this technique, I think there might have been less humidity in the air, so the icing hardened quicker, and I didn't have to use 2 hands. With a thicker consistency icing in red, I used a piping tip to pipe around the perimeter of the cookie. I also filled in the center heart with the word love and made a border around it as well. Now I'm going to hide the darker spot on the bottom of my cookie with some edible flowers that I had. You can make some icing flowers or use some other type of sprinkles. I attached the flowers from the largest size to the smallest size. With some different size sugar pearls, I filled in some of the open spaces, but I didn't go near the hand-painted illustration. It can be discouraging to put a lot of time and effort into something that didn't turn out how you wanted it to, but I firmly believe that there can be no mastery without failure or setbacks. I used to go ice skating when I was in college, and I think I fell maybe once. I could skate round and round the rink, and sometimes backwards. I could cross my right leg over my left and skate on one foot. I kept my balance and I'd speed past the other adults in the rink. However, I didn't push myself anymore. I knew that if I tried something harder, I would fall. I hope that this encourages you and that you would reconsider throwing something away just because the initial plan didn't go through. If you mess up in your baking, take this opportunity to figure out how to make your mistakes look intentional. And while you're practicing, keep trying for the original goal, but also train yourself to find an alternative plan when it is necessary.